Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of This Is In. My name is Emily Gorman and I'm the Director of Community Engagement here at AARP Indiana. And I am joined by
Addison Pollock. I'm the other Director of Community Engagement with AARP Indiana. Emily, we work in different communities across the state. You work
We
in
do.
Fort Wayne and Gary. I work in Indianapolis and Evansville. So that's kind of how we divvy up the work. So both
we
directors of
divide up
community
the state.
engagement. But yeah, this is how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Good to
Teamwork
see you.
makes the dream work. It's good to see
Right.
you too. Are you staying cool?
Trying to. I'm doing all right. I don't have like a fan in my office or anything, but I'm doing fine. Yeah.
Thank goodness for
I
air
hope everyone
conditioning.
out there is staying cool. Goodness
Yes.
gracious.
Goodness
right.
gracious. Right. So we will get right to it. I'm very excited for this week's episode. As you may remember, on June 28th, AARP announced the chosen grantees for the 2023 Community Challenge Grant. These are organizations from all across the Hoosier State that are working to make their communities more livable for residents of all ages. As you may have learned from our live announcement, AARP Indiana is planning to interview as many of these 7 grantees from this year as possible. And so you might remember from our last episode, we heard from our friend Lisa Floyd from the South Madison Foundation, which was a wonderful episode. What a lovely organization there in Pendleton, Indiana. But this week, we are lucky enough to be joined by Megan McClellan from Fort Wayne. Hi, Megan. Welcome.
Hello. Figuring out the mute. Yeah. Hi.
How
Happy
are
to be
you
here.
today?
Good. Very good.
I'm
Thanks
very
for
glad
joining
that
us.
you're able to join us. Megan and I have crossed paths several times in various different circles, and so I was very excited to see that you guys received one of our grants this year. And so I'll kick things off by, first of all, letting you introduce yourself, what you do, what your role is, and then maybe you could tell us a little bit about this grant as well.
Thank you, Emily. Yeah, my name's Megan McClellan, as you said. I'm the Executive Director of Fort Wayne Trails, Inc. So we are the nonprofit organization that works on trails throughout Allen County, which is where Fort Wayne is located. We are super lucky that up in this corner of the state and in this county, we have a lot of support for trails, especially from the municipalities. So the nonprofit doesn't actually have to build or maintain the trails. That's taken care of by the municipalities. So City of Fort Wayne or Allen County or New Haven or wherever the trails are located. So what we do is we do that advocacy, that community engagement, like you said, fundraising, like this grant, and all of that sort of stuff. So we run surveys, figure out what people want and need, and we then bring that information to the municipalities who are in charge of the trails, make sure that the trails are the best that they can be. And also working with all the different municipalities and making sure that they connect. You don't want a trail from New Haven coming this way and the city coming that way, and you want them to connect. So all those different sort of things, planning and advocacy and fundraising. So
you make sure all the dots are connected.
That's what we try and do. We encourage the dots to connect.
Yes, I love that. And then I'll just follow up with my second half to my question. Your project was your application was one that stood out among, we had over 80 applications this year and obviously could only choose 7 of those. And so yours really stood out. And so I wondered if you could tell us a little bit more about exactly what the project is and what you're hoping to accomplish from this.
Yeah, so Stillwater, this is a partnership with an organization called Stillwater Hospice. And Stillwater Hospice is a nonprofit hospice and grief center. They serve 12 different counties in northern Indiana. They serve thousands of people with hospice and palliative care. And they have an actual grief center here in Fort Wayne called the Peggy F. Murphy Community Center, Community Grief Center. And on the campus with the grief center and the hospice care, they have this amazing 2-acre natural prairie with all kinds of native species of plants and flowers and all the animals coming in and everything. They have trails through that. There's a pond with a paved trail around it. all an extremely nice resource. And it's technically open to the public. They are happy to have the community come and use it. And they have one of the paved public trails that the city owns going down the outside edge of their property. But the little path that connected that trail to all that natural prairie and all that amazing stuff didn't have curb cuts. It didn't have any signage to tell people that they should come this way and see all these amazing things, that they were allowed to come this way and see these amazing things, because it's private property. A lot of people don't, you're not going to just randomly go into someone's driveway. So this grant will pay for signage so that people know how to get, and that they are allowed to go to these amenities. Curb cuts so that people in wheelchairs or who maybe can't take a large step or pushing a stroller can all get along this path. And then down by the prairie, the prairie has a natural surface trail and they don't want bikes on it. So the city is going to be donating bike racks, and the grant pays for a pad to put the bike racks on, as well as trash can and dog poop holder and all that sort of stuff, because you're allowed to bring your dogs. They actually have a grief support group for people who've lost pets. Yeah, I know. When I heard that, it was like amazing. And all of their grief services are offered free to the community. So just getting more information out there about their services and helping the community is more than enough for them to offer this space to the community. And this way, people will be able to get down there and know and use it. So super excited about this collaboration. They actually came to the city of Fort Wayne and said, how can we make this connection happen? And the city said, we would love to make that connection, but your private property, we as the city can't help you. But let me call Fort Wayne Trails. And so they brought me on, and that's exactly what we do. We can reach out and apply for grants and things like that, like this grant, that allows for construction on private property, that allows for those connections to happen. And just another really great partnership.
That's amazing, Megan. Thanks for sharing all that. Really cool to learn more about Stillwater and all the services that they offer. I remember when we were reviewing this application, we kind of jumped out of our seats because we thought, wow, what an awesome connection between some of our health security / kind of caregiving work and our livable communities work. So this was really cool. You talked a little bit about this in your last answer, but could you just kind of elaborate on why this project is important to making Fort Wayne an even more livable community? And that might even get to, trails at large. Like, why did they make Fort Wayne a more livable community?
So great question. Thank you. The greater Fort Wayne area, Allen County, has over 135 miles of paved multi-use trail. And it's not all one line or anything. It's really a spider web. And we appreciate that because it connects people to schools and parks and work and all the different things that people need, restaurants and ice cream shops and ice cream shops after school. And so all these different connections are so important to a community. I mean, if you're driving by at 40 miles an hour, it takes a lot more effort to pull into a business, find a parking space, and get out of your car. But if you're walking past, you say, oh, that dress looks interesting, I'm going to go in there. It's good for economic development. It's good for community development, waving at your neighbors as you walk past. Physical activity is important. So there's just so many benefits of trails. But people are much more likely to use these trails if there's a reason, if it's just a line down the road, well, maybe you have some people who want to get their miles in get their steps in, but a lot of people would, at least like to say, I'm going to here I am going to the cookie cottage and get a cookie, and then I'm going to come back to my car, or I'm going to go to this beautiful natural area and rest on the bench and watch the birds, and then I'll walk back. And that's what this Stillwater Hospice is offering, is another one of those amenities, another place to stop and really enjoy nature, have just a brain break. So it's not just getting your miles in, but you're actually going somewhere, doing something along the trails. And that, so yes, trails have a myriad of benefits for communities. And one of the ways to get people to use those trails and access those benefits is to have some place that they want to go on that trail.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That is so true. You've definitely convinced me that I need to make sure that I stop and I go and take a look at all of these beautiful things that we need to see. You definitely made it sound super special. My next question you kind of touched on a little bit in your first answer, but I wondered if you could talk a little bit more about any of the age-friendly or intergenerational components of this project that you might want to highlight for us, if there are any.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of people in hospice are older, but not all, obviously. But people going through grief are all ages, all demographics, and to have the ability to have this space to bring your family. Maybe you're there visiting someone who's in hospice. And you need, it's important to visit with them, but it's also important to take care of your own mental health and to take a little break and go out and get away from it all. And so this is a great place for families to go. Sometimes someone in hospice might need a break from the little kids running all over their room. And this would be a chance to take your kids out and let them run around a bit. you go play out there for a little bit. Go see how many butterflies you can find, And so it's intergenerational in that it's a great opportunity for families who are either visiting the grief center or visiting hospice to get out with the whole family and have some quality time together.
Yes, most definitely. Definitely get that. There's a lot of benefits for all sorts of demographics, as you were saying, folks, as we say, from 8 to 80, public spaces are so welcoming. And this sounds like one that's just truly, truly a really special place. And I look forward to checking it out next time I'm in Fort Wayne. So this project is really cool. It's really fantastic, as we've been talking about. Is there anything that you look forward to with this project? Are there any programmatic elements that you're weaving into this, or anything that you're building onto this grant or this project that the grant is funding?
Yeah, we definitely want to encourage some programmatic side of this. There won't be any. Past this grant, I don't see a whole lot of additional construction or anything to the project. But as far as programs go, absolutely. One of the things that the grant is paying for is a sign with information about the different plants and animals you'll see in the prairie. I know they've had all kinds of cool birds and butterflies. There's like is it a mink, I think, or something? And they've named him, and just all kinds of cool stuff. They see deer all the time. So I'm very much looking forward to, we have biweekly walk runs that I think it would be great to start and end a walk run from there, just to further let people know about the facility and the options there. We have bike rides every week. I'm not sure that those would fit as well because the prairie is more for walking, but you are allowed to bring your bike down there. There will be bike racks. So maybe just starting from their parking lot, but letting more people know about that. We used to do bird where you would hike and look for birds, bird watching hikes. and haven't really done one recently, but this might be a great opportunity to bring that program back. I'm looking forward to just partnering with Stillwater and seeing what sort of things they might want to partner with us on. Maybe there is a meditative time or walk or something that a quiet, still time to be there and just experience the outdoors. A lot of cool things.
That's great. Yeah, so we are about to close out. So is there anything else you'd like to share with us, Megan, before you sign off today? Anything about Fort Wayne Trails or about the project?
Well, I did want to give a big thank you to AARP for this grant, also to Stillwater Hospice and the city of Fort Wayne for really helping put the grant together and all the hard work they've done, and for Stillwater for coming up with the idea in the first place. And I wanted to let people know that if they want any more information about this project or any of the projects that are going on in Fort Wayne or any of our upcoming events like the walk or the bike or any of our other events coming up, they can check out our website. It's fwtrails.org. And we've got all kinds of information on there. So
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you for the plug. Appreciate that. Well, on behalf of myself, and I know I can speak for Emily, we thank you for joining us today. We thank all the viewers who are watching this as it debuts, but also down the line. Be sure to check back here on our Facebook page for to hear more about the Community Challenge Grant programs. The grantees for 2023. We have a couple more, so hang in there. We're going to get those interviews scheduled, and you will hear about all the great things that are happening across the state this year as it relates to this program. So we're just glad to have this opportunity to help make communities across Indiana even more livable for people of all ages. So thank you, Megan, and thank you all. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you. Bye.